I'm Clinton Anderson, and I have a method for training horses. Getting horses to behave is simple. It's training people that's the real trick. Join me as I tackle some of the most challenging situations with problem horses and with problem owners. Last week on Downunder Horsemanship. So you can see here, Brittany, it's pretty reactive. You know what I mean? It's pulling back, it's falling over on the ground. Well, tell me, why did you bring your horse here to Downunder Horsemanship Ranch?
Because we're all afraid of her.
You're afraid of her. Tell me why you're afraid of her, mate.
She's out of control with tying, with saddling, cross ties flipping.
Right.
Let go in the pasture, she bolts.
Right. That's pretty typical behavior for her to sit back like that. Psh, 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 psh.
Ever wished Clinton Anderson would just come by and help you with your horse, or that he would put on a clinic in your own arena? Well, now you can get the next best thing. Meet the Clinton Anderson Certified Clinicians. Trained by Clinton himself, these great horsemen have met all the requirements of the Clinton Anderson Academy. 16 months of intensive training at the Downunder Horsemanship Ranch. Theoretical and practical testing on Clinton's method. Hands-on experience with problem horses. Now, there is a Clinton Anderson method expert willing and able to come to where you live and ride to teach a private lesson or put on a public clinic. Learn at your own pace. Get personalized instruction, all without having to travel far from home. So if you can't find the time or the money to come to a Clinton Anderson clinic at his ranch, now you have an option. Get accelerated results. Let a Clinton Anderson certified clinician bring the method to you. Visit certifiedclinician.com for more.
I've been managing the farm for the Milwaukee Public Schools Recreation Department for a little over 30 years now, and when I buy a piece of equipment, I look at how many times out of the year I'm going to use it. And if it's only 2 or 3 times out of the year, I might as well go rent it from somebody. But the TR3 is very affordable, and it's not a piece of equipment that you use once and set aside. It's something that I use on a daily basis.
Hey mate, if you're looking for a fun and inspiring way to challenge your horsemanship, then join me for a 3-day horsemanship clinic so I can help you become a better horseman. At each clinic, I'll work with only 20 participants, teaching them the fundamentals, groundwork, and riding exercises. My clinicians will join me to ensure everybody makes progress and receives one-on-one help. Spectators are welcome to watch all 3 days of the clinic. We'll also have our retail store set up with all of my products and kits. So mate, if you want to learn the method from me personally, sign up to participate or get your spectator tickets now, and I'll see you on the road, mate. You know, I bet they're pretty excited to come see their new horse. They should be. This mare's made a lot of improvement, mate. Hi guys, how are you? Great to see you back again, mate. Welcome back to the ranch. Welcome back to the ranch. Well, I bet you guys are excited.
Yes.
Let's come see your new horse, mate. Let's go.
All right.
I think you guys are going to be very impressed with what Brittany has been able to do with your horse following my method. You know, she spent a lot of time with this horse over the last 4 days, and I think it's really going to start to show today. Okay, guys, here's your new horse. For starters, I'm going to have Brittany run through some of the fundamental exercises.
okay? Because you brought us a horse that only knew how to use the reactive side of her brain. She was disrespectful and reactive. Now she's calm and respectful. So to start out with, we had to do a lot of desensitizing with this horse, just getting your mare to where she didn't fear humans or objects, okay? So just getting her to stand still and not run away when we threw the rope at her or the stick and string was a big deal, okay? Remember when we tied her up, as soon as we would make any noise or we'd move her arm, she would overreact, wouldn't she? Okay? So what Brittany's working on right now is what we just call desensitizing with the rope, making sure that we can throw this rope all over her body and she's not frightened of us or our tools. If the horse, see, she was frightened of the saddle. She was frightened of humans. She was frightened of everything.
Yes.
Okay? So can you see a big difference in her already?
Yes.
Okay, this is nothing right now to what you're about to see. Okay, Brittany, go ahead and get your stick and string out, mate. Now, the stick and string is basically just an extension of our arm, okay? And we want to make sure the horse is comfortable with that moving around him, okay? She hated objects that moved and made a noise. That's what she didn't like at all. So the stick and string is obviously one of them. It's an object that moves and makes a noise. And you'll see here how Brittany will start spanking the ground. To get her to stand still like that, we had to teach her to do that, because normally when you do that, what would she do?
Freak out.
Yeah, well, how would she freak out? What would she do?
Be pulled back.
She'd run away. She'd escape, wouldn't she?
Honestly, I didn't really think we would see a lot of difference as far as this sensitivity. I didn't see how they could possibly do that in a short amount of time.
See how she's standing there like a statue? Okay.
Yeah.
So we haven't saddled her just yet. We're going to saddle her today for the first time, but the saddling's not really a problem. The problem was she only knew how to use the reactive side of her brain, and you didn't have control of her by getting control of her feet and moving them forwards, backwards, left and right. The problems you brought her with us to fix aren't really problems. They were symptoms of a cause. Once we gained the horse's respect and we got your horse to use the thinking side of her brain, the saddling, the pulling back, the spookiness, all of those issues quit. Okay? Because they're not really your problem. They're symptoms of a cause. Every horse's problem in the world comes from either a lack of respect or fear. Your mare had both. She had lack of respect and she had fear. That's why following my method, and especially the fundamental level, you know, that's all we've been doing is working on the fundamentals level, is we've got her now to be calm, respectful, and use the thinking side of the brain. See that, how she lowered her head just then? That's excellent. See how she's getting quiet, isn't she?
Yes.
And this is just after 4 days. What do you think she could be like after 2 weeks? A brand new horse. I guarantee the other 2 horses you got at home wouldn't stand still when we did this.
No, I don't think so.
Would they? This is the nutcase, and look at her now. Now she looks like the broke one, doesn't she?
She does.
Very good. Excellent then. What do you notice about your horse, mate? You notice any difference? What? Tell me.
She, usually at home, she'll just pull back and rear at you or kick you, and she's just standing there.
She's standing there nice and calm. Now what Brittany's working on is flexing her, getting her to bend and soften to the halter. She was extremely stiff. That's why she would pull back so much when you tied her up, because she didn't know how to give to pressure. Okay, and a lot of thoroughbreds off the track do that. You know, this is not our first rodeo with thoroughbreds, first time we've trained them. You know, we've trained lots of thoroughbreds. One of the most famous ones was Tricky Warrior, a thoroughbred we got off the track a couple of years ago. And he had a lot of the same problems this mare had. He was very stiff, he was very reactive, very spooky. They're typical traits from a thoroughbred off the track. We went back and followed the fundamentals level, just like we're doing here. See, when Brittany picks up on that halter, she wants her to just bend and soften. See how low her head is?
Yeah.
She's very relaxed there, isn't she? That's what we're looking for there, soft and supple.
Totally different horse. She was, I see our family pet, I guess you could say, as a horse that I doubted, you know, we would even be able to keep.
So what Brittany's going to do now is Brittany's just going to run through some of the basic exercises that we've taught her, because we've been building up for the saddle. Okay. We're going to saddle her today, because that was a big part of her behavioural issues, wasn't it?
Yes.
Now, it was a big part of the issues she was giving you, but it wasn't a big part of the solution. What we're doing now is what's fixing her.
Okay.
The saddling's got nothing to do with her problem. We're going to saddle her today for the first time because she's respecting us and she's using the thinking side of her brain. So what Brittany's working on right now is an exercise that we call Yield the Hindquarters Stage 1. It's about getting the horse to pivot on their front feet and running the hind feet 360 degrees around the front feet. See, by getting her to disengage her hindquarters like that, it gives Brittany control of her feet. Remember, the way that you gain a horse's respect is by you moving their feet forwards, backwards, left and right, and always rewarding the slightest try. So watch the horse's left front foot. If you watch her front leg, watch the other 3 feet will go around. See how she's kind of pivoting on her left front foot? Then the other 3 feet are going around it. So what the groundwork does is it gets your horse safe, respectful, and using the thinking side of the brain, so that when you go to get on the horse, you haven't got to worry about a rodeo. See, if we would have tried to saddle her the first day she was here, she would have done exactly what she did with you guys. She would have pulled back, she would have bucked, she would have acted silly. We're waiting 4 days before we go ahead and saddle her, because it's preparation is the key, okay? What else do you notice about her?
I'm just in shock of all of her. Just she's hardly pulling or tugging on her. She's just simple, easy little requests, and she's doing it.
She looks obedient, doesn't she?
Yes, she
looks
does.
calm, very attentive. She's not doing anything unless what? Brittany asks her to.
Yes.
Now, believe me, she's not fixed yet. You guys have got to go home and follow her. This is where I'm going to get you guys in trouble. You guys have done a really piss-poor job of preparation,
Yes.
okay? You guys have been acting like predators, and she's been acting like a prey animal. My job is to teach you guys not to act like predators, and your job is to go home and teach her not to act like a prey animal.
Okay.
Okay?
I see potential. I know she's not totally ready. There's more work to be done.
If you're serious about living the dream, it doesn't get more real than this. Let famed Aussie horseman Clinton Anderson turn your dreams into reality. Clinton Anderson opens the gates to his world-famous Downunder Horsemanship Ranch in Stephenville, Texas. You could see Clinton in action on tour. You could practice his methods at home. But there is nothing like getting instant feedback from Clinton himself. Book your clinic now and set out on an adventure of a lifetime for you and your horse.
Hay is not for horses. They deserve Stanley Premium Western Forage. There's no better place in the country to grow forage than Idaho, and Stanley is one of the country's largest producers. From pellets, cubes, and chopped forage in bags to compressed in 3-tie bales, Stanley cultivates the premium forage types horse owners demand. Because your horse needs hay, but he deserves Stanley Premium Western Forage.
Fundamentals has shown you the basics. Now it's time to put those principles into practice. Get out of the arena and get on the trail. Introducing Fundamentals in Action, On the Trail. This all-new supplement to the popular Fundamentals series will show you how to apply the method on the trail and in turn teach you everything you need to know to make the most of your trail riding experience. Plus tips and tricks that will make every trail ride a success and so much more. You get 10 instruction-packed DVDs and 2 hardcover books with over 400 pages of in-depth information, beautifully illustrated and packed with amazing photos that will inspire you to get out and have an adventure. That's over $800 worth of training for only $3.99. Act now. Get up, get out, and get on the trail.
So the next little exercise is what we call lunging for respect stage 1. Brittany's going to send her off into a circle, point. She's going to swing the stick, and she's going to drive her off into a circle. But we're not just going to let her go around and around and around. We're going to do lots of changes of direction. Now notice that when she's going around, look how much slack is in the rope. Do you notice she's not pulling on the rope very much?
Yes.
That's a big thing for her, isn't it? Is
Yes.
pulling on that lead rope. Now Brittany's going to disengage, slide, stab her belly button, push the hindquarters away. Then she's going to go ahead and send her the other way. See, watch what Brittany's feet are doing. Her feet aren't doing much, and the horse's feet are doing a lot.
Yeah.
See, the secret to great horsemanship is whoever moves first loses. The more Brittany can make her feet move, the better. Make her do a little bit bigger circle there, Brittany. That's it. She's going to go ahead and yield there. Push that hindquarters away. Excellent. Go the other way. Point. Notice that when she makes a suggestion now, what does this mare do? She follows it, doesn't she?
Yes.
She looks like an old 10-year-old kid's pony now, doesn't she? Quiet, obedient. That's what my method teaches horses. My method is what we call non-denominational. It'll work with any breed horse, any age of horse, and any discipline, okay? So what Brittany's gonna work on now is what we call lunging for respect stage 2. Now we want the horse to pivot on a rear end and change direction. So she's gonna step in front. Excellent. See that little rollback just there?
Good girl. We've seen some of those things online. And then he sends us a monthly DVD, but I never thought Zoe, you know, would be so good at tolerating it like she was.
Now, if she gets lazy or a little bit, you know, lethargic, Brittany's gonna go ahead and use the stick and encourage her feet to move by tapping her with it. There we go. That's it. See how she's reading Brittany's body language, isn't it?
Yes.
When Brittany steps in front of that drive line in front of her shoulder, that's where she knows that cue is to stop and turn. But notice that she's handling pressure really well now, isn't she?
Yes.
She's not overreacting to it.
Right.
Okay? In the beginning, whenever she would feel pressured, what would she do? She'd panic.
Yes.
She's learning now that pressure's not a bad thing. She doesn't need to feel threatened when anybody puts pressure on her. Okay? Go ahead and yield her, Brittany. Yield. She's gonna look at that hindquarters. There. Excellent. Bring her up to you. Rub on her there. There we go. See, now she needs a little loving. Look at her eye. It's calm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quiet, calm. See, inside of every crazy thoroughbred is a quiet quarter horse wanting to get out. Thoroughbreds don't want to act crazy, but they don't know any other way to act. Okay, people assume that if it's a thoroughbred, it's got to be crazy. They can be quiet. When we first got Tricky Warrior off the track, he was a complete idiot. He'd rear up and run away and panic and spook and do all kinds of crazy things. After we put him through the method, he was like an old kid's pony. He was quiet, we could crack a whip off him, we could plastic bags, you know, we could stand beside him and spank the ground with the stick and string, we could ride him all over the ranch. He was on the obstacle course, we could jump him up and down all the jumps and over the gullies and in the water. Thoroughbreds really want to be quiet, but they don't know it unless you teach them how to be. Righto, Brittany, what's the next exercise you want to show us?
We could do sending exercise.
Okay, here's another exercise. Every exercise that Brittany shows you, I want you to consider it like a tool in your toolbox. Okay. If you're a handyman, the more tools you have, the more things you can fix, isn't it? The sending exercise was very important to get away from that whole trapped and claustrophobic feeling that mare felt up against the fence. You know, when she would normally feel pressure behind her ears with a halter, she'd want to set back and fight that, wouldn't she? And then, you know, rear up. That exercise taught her, instead of pulling against that pressure, she had to come forward, soften to that pressure, yield. So Brittany teaching that exercise was a big part in getting that mare to stand still and not pull back when she's saddling. So Brittany's sending your mare from one side of her to the other, but she's sending her between her and the fence because horses hate tight, narrow spaces. Why do you think?
Can't get away, limits
Makes them feel claustrophobic, doesn't it? Horses hate tight, narrow spaces. That's why she didn't like backing off the trailer the other day. That's why she feels nervous in the trailer. That's why when you tie her up, why does she pull back? Because she feels trapped. See, we didn't tie her up for the first 2 days. All we did is work on the groundwork. And guess what happened when we tied her up? Nothing. She didn't pull back.
Wow.
Why not? Because pulling back wasn't her problem. It was what? A symptom of a cause. Okay? Pulling back was not the problem. So if she gets a little lazy here, Brittany will whack her on the butt here on the shoulder to get her. See, right there she tapped her on the butt because she wasn't disengaging very well. Okay, pressure, a little bit of mistake there. Pressure, pressure, pressure. There, and she came forward. So Brittany's just sending her from one side of her to the other. You can send your horse into a stall like this. Send him into the wash rack. Send him into the trailer. What do you notice about Brittany's feet again? They're not doing much, are they?
Right.
But her feet are what? Doing a lot. To gain control of your horse, you've got to be able to move their feet forwards, backwards, left, and right. Excellent. I love how calm she is. See how she just came through that gap really calm? There, I love it when she'll just walk through. Look at that. Righto, Brittany, take it to the center, mate. What's another exercise you'd like to show us?
I can show you yielding the forequarters.
Check out our latest catalogue from Downunder Horsemanship. It's filled with beautiful imagery and in-depth information on all the products used in this show. Visit our website or call this number and we'll send it to your door free of charge.
My husband and I love to go on our early morning rides and spend time with our animals. Being out on the trail is a great escape from everyday life, so their health is one of my main priorities. Vetericyn Plus products are my go-to wound and skincare solution, not only for its effectiveness, but also for its safe and non-toxic formula. Since I've been using Vetericyn Plus products, I can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying my happy, healthy animals. Check out Vetericyn.com for more information.
SmartBack lead the horse industry when it comes to horse supplements. Jessica, I've seen some brochures called Colic Care. Explain what that is, mate.
Colic Care is our new wellness program for horse owners who feed Smart Digest Ultra in Smart Packs. Should your horse require colic surgery, Smart Pack will reimburse the horse owner for up to $7,500 toward the surgery.
Obviously, if you're willing to reimburse an owner for a horse that has colic that uses your product, you must be pretty confident.
We're very confident in the Smart Digest Ultra in Smart Packs.
Hey, your horses are thirsty. Sure, I'm full of water, but have you looked inside here? I'm disgusting. I've either got a mosquito swim meet going on, or I'm frozen solid. What's the matter? You think I stink? Wake up and smell the horses here. I'm a big tub of stagnant water, so get your gloves and...
Dump the tank. Install a classic equine by Ritchie Waterer. Less work, less waste, less worry.
Don't forget to check out our next training session with Titan and the Method.
She was very pushy, we noticed too. She was actually a bad combination. She was fearful, but she was also dominant and pushy. Okay? Brittany's now going to work on what we call yield the forequarters, where we want her to pivot on her back end and yield her forequarters 360 degrees away from Brittany. There, see how crossing her front legs?
Yes.
Teaching your horse to yield the forequarters stops him from being pushy and dominant. Every horse needs to learn this. Now again, everything that we're showing you here is in the fundamentals kit. And I'm going to make sure you go home with this kit because all this training that Brittany's done in the last 4 days is a waste of time unless you go home and what? Continue it.
Right, reinforce.
She's made great improvement, hasn't she?
Yeah, amazing.
But she's not trained yet. It's only 4 days. You've got to do this for at least, 2-3 weeks before she's solid at it.
Okay. Well, we have a couple of ponies and they can be hard-headed too. I see a couple of issues where we need to be more dominant and make them move their feet. So I think it'll be just kind of fun to watch them change like we saw Zoe today.
This is just after 4 days. Imagine what could happen in a week or two.
Right.
Excellent. What else you got, Brittany? Okay. So Brittany's going to show us now some more advanced desensitizing exercises. Okay, this is in preparation for getting her to be ready. Now, I love that. See how she's cocking her hind leg just there?
Yes.
Her left hind leg is cocked and relaxed. That's a great sign that she's what? Using the thinking side of her brain.
Okay.
See?
Okay.
See, normally, what would that have done to her? When you swung that above her head, what would she have normally done?
I got one loop out.
And she would have done what?
She would have bolted.
Taken off.
The helicopter, I think I would even be scared of that, truthfully. But just that she, with little effort, got Zoe to do what she wanted her to do. I mean, she wasn't pulling, tugging. It's just like Zoe was reading her mind. I've never seen that before out of Zoe, so that was pretty cool to watch.
Look how calm she is. She doesn't look worried anymore, does she?
No, she's totally relaxed.
Remember, Alan, we want respect without fear. If there's fear there, the respect doesn't matter. If there's respect but the horse is fearful, that doesn't matter. So what Brittany's done is prove to her that we're not going to hurt her with our equipment. You don't want the horse to fear you or the tools. So what we're doing here is we're preparing her because we're going to saddle her for the first time today. That's a big deal for her, isn't it? Yes. But if we've done our homework correctly, what do you think will happen when we saddle?
She's going to be great if she
She's
does
gonna be
anything
great.
like this. Yes.
Now, I don't know for sure if she's going to be, but if we've done our homework correctly, she should not have a bad reaction to it.
Right.
But if we would have saddled her on day one, what would have been her reaction? Bad.
Right. She would have
Can you see how you've been attacking it from the wrong angle? That's why you haven't been getting good results, is because you've been doing it the wrong way. But the good news is you're here now and you're following the method. That's the good news. She would have never stood still. Look at that spanking behind her like that. What do you think she would have done, Alan, when something spanked behind her like that?
Bolted.
Bolted. What's she doing now?
She's standing there like it's no big deal.
She's standing there with her head down, bent, relaxed. Different horse, isn't it?
Different horse. Yes, it is.
Okay, Brittany, let's take her over to the fence, mate, and tie her up, and then we're going to go ahead and saddle her. Now, when you brought her here and we tied her up to the fence, it was a wreck, wasn't it?
Yes,
She was scared, she was frightened. When I flapped my arms, make any noise, she'd overreact. Watch what the difference is now with the method. You'll notice a big change in how she's just not panicked when she's tied up now. Brittany's going to run up to her and see if she can make her pull back. When I did that last time and I threw my arms in the air and made noise like that, what'd she do?
Pull back.
She pulled back and panicked. Brittany, just move her hindquarters over a little bit more, mate.
And she was standing there tied, which was the beginning of our problems, but she was relaxed and calm, and I was really shocked. I was really shocked, but pleasantly surprised that I see a horse that we can have in our family for a long time and that the girls can ride.
Watch, Brittany will go do it again. She's going to run up to her and see if we can make her act silly. And look at the difference. She's like an old kid's pony now, isn't she?
Right.
Quiet as a lamb. What a difference in her. This is what my method does. It brings out the calmness in horses, the trusting calmness behavior. Brittany's also done this on both sides. Very, very important that you work with both sides of your horse's brain. Horses have a left side and a right side. It's very, very important that you train both sides. So we're going to get the saddle out here, and that's the big test, isn't it? Because that's when she'd really react badly when you saddle her.
Yes.
So if we've done our homework, she's going to stand there like a statue, perfectly quiet. You see there how she lifted her head up just there? Brittany keeps doing it until she relaxes. She doesn't take that pressure away until she ignores her. See, that's how she got to be spooky. She would react a little bit, and then people would do what? Take away the pressure.
Yes.
So in her mind, she was training you guys. Does that make sense? She didn't make a big mistake then, but it was just a little mistake. Now look at the difference. Excellent. Remember when she pulled back? She threw herself down on the ground on the video that you sent me.
Yes.
She threw herself on the ground. She'd rear up. She'd run around. Remember when I tied her up? Remember the bad behavior? It was terrible, wasn't it?
Yes.
I love this horse now. What a nice horse.
Now, Brittany today, doing that and Zoe just standing there versus Clinton doing it 3 days ago and Zoe trying to pull his pole down was just amazingly cool to watch.
So now's the big test, isn't it, mate? Getting the saddle out.
Yes.
This is what we've been building up for, because that's where a big wreck was, wasn't it?
Yes.
When you put that saddle on, she'd flop over on the ground, she'd rear up, she'd get frightened.
Yes.
My method is going to make sure that none of that behavior continues. First of all, Brittany's going to make sure that she does a little bit of approach and retreat. Just lets her smell it, then retreat it. Then she's going to throw it up over her back, throw it over her neck. Pretty good reaction so far, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you notice that Brittany's not sneaking around her, is she?
Right.
Alan, why do you think that's important, not to sneak around her?
Showing that you're the boss.
Just acting confident. You know, there's not a problem here. Because we've prepared her, haven't we? We've done our homework.
Yes.
I love that. See how she's got a right hind leg cocked? That's a sign of relaxation, isn't it?
Yes.
So Brittany's going to let her smell it, approach and retreat a couple of times, and she's going to throw it up on her back. What would she have normally done in that situation?
The saddle would be on the ground by now. And
Why?
She'd be gone. Because it's closing in on her. Something But her legs stayed cocked, never even...
She's quite happy to stand still now, isn't she?
She is.
She don't want to be in a hurry to go anywhere. See, that's what happens when you get a horse using the thinking side of their brain. They calm down. They no longer want to be silly. So now Brittany's going to position the saddle, get it all adjusted correctly. When you would normally go to do the girth up, what would she do?
She couldn't handle that. She would pull back, lay down, just get that saddle off of her and try to get away.
So far, we're getting a good reaction, aren't we?
Yes.
It doesn't surprise me that this mare's acting like she's been saddled like... She acts like she's been saddled like this 1,000 times, doesn't she?
I know.
That's the hard part for me to get across to people. Whatever you think your problem is not a problem. It's a symptom of a cause. All problems with horses come from either a lack of respect or fear. My method and the fundamentals gets rid of either one of them. It gets respect and it gets rid of the fear. Okay, so Brittany's going to go ahead now and uncheck her and just take her to the center. Do a little desensitizing with her. You know, when we saddled her and we first asked her to move off, she did hump up just a little bit, but that's not a big deal. That's a very normal reaction considering she's never had a Western saddle on her, especially with a back cinch. You know, she's been used to being saddled with a little jockey pad or a little English saddle. So wearing a big old Western saddle with a back cinch was a new piece of clothing for her, a new piece of equipment. So the amount that she humped up, not a big deal. She just worked through that really easily, and it's not something I'm worried about. You know, from this saddling onwards, I bet she don't even worry about the saddle. I'm Clinton Anderson. I grew up in Australia with a love for horses. And it's the words of my longtime friend, Neil Gilner, when you love horses, you love trucks. When it comes to buying a new truck, you can't beat Gilner Auto Group in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Although their unique selection does make it hard on a fella. See them all in one location. Well, it is a hard decision. Make your choice, even if it's a tough one, at Gilner Auto Group.
When Clinton Anderson designed the pressure release system pad, he was thinking of you and your horse. For your horse, the PRS pad has the ideal features to keep him sound and comfortable. Shock absorbency to protect his back from soreness and concussion. Special shoulder cutouts to eliminate pressure points. A split middle to allow free movement of shoulders and withers. A cutout over the top line to relieve pressure on the spine. And it molds to the shape of your horse's back, creating a more secure and comfortable fit. For you, it offers all the options that make this pad perfect for any use. It's available in your choice of leather or felt top. And with the felt top, you can select either a foam or felt bottom. The foam bottom channels moisture away. The felt bottom provides great comfort for long rides. So why not rely on the pad Clinton uses? The Pressure Release System Pad.
Now, before we go ahead and move her off, I just want to desensitize her a little bit more. And remember, we're trying to prove to your horse that she doesn't need to be fearful of us or what? Our tools.
Okay.
So lots of flogging her with kindness here. See, don't flog her with anger, flog her with some kindness. Get her to where she says, please bring that stick and string out. I love that. It's just so soothing and quiet. So far for a first saddle, I'm pretty good, you know?
Major good.
Love that. Look at that hind leg. When she stands there like that, she's telling you, she's giving you the green light, isn't she? She's quiet, she's confident.
Head's lower.
Head's lower. That's it. Yeah, now you're reading the signs. But it was a combination of sensitizing her to pressure and desensitizing her to pressure that made this work. You got to do both. If you only sensitize, you get into trouble. If you only desensitize, you get into trouble. You got to do both. Sensitize, desensitize. Look at her licking her lips. Excellent. What else do you want to do to her, Brittany?
Do a little bit of circle driving in the distance.
Okay.
Just ease her off.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Just a little bit different there. That's all right. Brittany will just kind of let her go around in a circle. That's it. Just let her go around, Brittany.
The same way?
Yeah. Just let her go around in a circle. This is the first time she's had a Western saddle on her like this, with a back cinch. So she's got to get used to wearing that back cinch. It's like a new piece of clothing, isn't it? So the fact that she hopped around just then, not a big deal, because she's not used to wearing that back cinch. You don't have back cinch on your saddles, do you?
No, we don't.
Okay, you normally saddle with an English saddle?
English, yes.
Big difference between an English saddle and a Western saddle.
Yes.
So her having a little bit of a reactive issue right there is nothing. That was just her saying, what the hell's going on? I'm wearing some different underpants today. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
She never felt that back cinch around her belly. But did you notice that when she had a little reaction there, she didn't act real bad, did she?
Right. Right.
She didn't take off bolting and bucking, and she didn't throw herself on the ground, did she?
Right. She's...
So that's just her saying, hey, I'm not used to wearing this. So what do you think of your horse, mate?
I think it's amazing.
She's really made a lot of improvement.
Yes. It's just... It's shocking. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect this much in such a short time.
Imagine how good she could be in 2 weeks. It's only been 4 days. She spent years developing these bad habits, hasn't she? And within 4 days, 50% of them are gone straight away, haven't they?
Yeah, yes.
That's why the method works so well. Brittany, just go ahead and tighten up your cinch now, mate. Excellent. Love that. Now we're just going to tighten this up right now, because once you move them around, they'll have a tendency to suck up their belly. So she'll tighten the front cinch up and the back one. I like that. See her head's down? She's got a head bend, doesn't she? When she's scared, she stands there real stiff, doesn't she?
Yes.
Straight and stiff. Look at her bend in the neck. Remember, bend is your friend. The more they got bend in their neck, the softer and quieter they are.
Okay.
There we go. So Brittany's going to go back to working with her again. So her little bit of an issue just then, that's nothing. And she came out of it pretty quick, didn't she?
Yes.
So in a couple of days of saddling, do you think that'll be even come up anymore?
No.
Why do you think, Alan, she didn't pull back when we saddled her? Why didn't she flop over and do all the bad stuff today that she did on the video when you sent it to me? Why do you think?
I don't think she was scared no more. She trusted her.
We had respect without what, Alan? Fear. She wasn't fearful, was she?
No.
But not only was she not fearful, but we had her respect. How did we gain her respect, Alan? What did we do? We moved the feet, didn't we?
Yeah.
Forwards, backwards. That's what Brittany's doing now. Do you notice Brittany's just not lunging her around, is she?
Right.
She's not just lunging her around. That's it. So what Brittany's doing here is just getting her to where she can flog her with kindness, that stick and string over the saddle there. There we go. Oh, I love that. If she'll walk and relax, we'll let her. This is what we call desensitizing the horse in motion, which is harder than if the horse is just standing still. Because whenever a horse is moving their feet, they have a natural tendency to go back to the reactive side of their brain, especially the faster they go. You know, when horses get nervous and they gallop, they get more reactive.
Yes.
So the fact that she got a little tight then, didn't she, just for a second?
Right.
And then she relaxed what? Very what? Quickly.
Yes.
What do you notice different about your horse, mate?
I used to see a wild thoroughbred, now I'm seeing a little dead quarter horse. This is very impressive to see her actually being calm. Just can't wait for her to get home.
She wants to be really calm. She just didn't know how to be. She just then, when she threw the stick at her, she got a little reactive there, didn't she? But you notice Brittany's not going to take the stick away, is she? Because if we took the stick away when she uses the reactive side of her brain, what are we teaching her? Use the reactive side of her brain. So notice that she's getting a little nervous here. Brittany will just keep doing it. Just calmly keep flogging her with kindness. Until she says, you know what? I don't need to be worried about this. Tricky was very reactive with this. Anytime we got the saddle out, you know, I remember flapping the stirrups with the saddle, he'd run sideways. I remember when we got the stock whip out and we started cracking the whip, he'd drag me across the arena acting like an idiot, okay? Oh, I love that. Why did I like that so much? What'd she do?
She just stopped.
She relaxed, didn't she? She calmed down. She didn't panic. Love that. What a good girl. Brittany's done an excellent job with your horse.
She has.
This October, Stephenville, Texas is the home to the ultimate horseman's experience. The Downunder Discovery Ranch Rally. Explore Clinton's ranch, meet his team and his horses. Learn the advanced training techniques Clinton reserves for his most loyal fans. Celebrate with Clinton and his staff with live music and a bonfire. The Downunder Horsemanship Ranch Rally. Space is limited to 500 people. Don't miss out.
The thing that I love most about my job is being able to build products, new products that are going to make a difference. I'm constantly bringing products home, using them and seeing how they perform on different horses. You know, I want to be able to build things that actually perform and enhance a horse owner's life. I truly love what I do.
Lease a horse, borrow a horse, ride with one hand or two. The Green Rainer class has a level for you.
It's just fun to learn and progress.
Jackets for green 1, buckles for 2.
I'm working to get my next 50 points so I can get my buckle.
Make friends.
There's a lot of camaraderie.
Make memories.
We're all starting to clap for each other a little bit and watching people get better.
Make dreams come true.
Pursue your dream.
The NRHA Green Rainer program. Find out more at nrha.com.
Anything worth having is worth working for, that's for sure. Not gonna make it here if you got any quit in you.
This is where I needed to be the best that I could be. And that's just what we do here.
Dedication, ambition, passion. To some, these are more than ideals. They are a lifestyle, a code, a path to something greater. If you think you're one of the select few who can rise to the challenge, who can dedicate themselves to mastering the method, let the Clinton Anderson Academy catapult your skills and provide you with the ultimate experience. If you have what it takes, become a Clinton Anderson certified clinician and change your life.
Now remember, mate, even though she's made a lot of improvement, you're not out of trouble yet. You've got to go home and follow my method. Because all this work that we've done is a waste of time. If you go home and you treat her the same way you've been treating her, I guarantee within 2 weeks she'll be back to the old horse. But if you follow my method, she'll stay good like this forever.
That'd be awesome.
Remember, by the time we got done with the method with Tricky Warrior, he was quiet as all get out, okay? Just quiet and relaxed. But we had to follow my method. Rubbing on them is not going to get them quiet. Gaining their respect and getting them to use the thinking side of their brain is what works. Looking good. For her first saddling, I'd give her an A+ for her first saddling.
Oh, yes.
What do you think she's going to be like in 2 or 3 days if we keep saddling?
We will be able to ride her.
Yeah. She's not ready to ride just now because she doesn't have enough homework with the saddle. She hasn't practiced with the saddle enough.
I'm planning on riding her soon. I'm looking forward to it.
It was all good, positive changes. I do see them eventually could ride her. We could stay on this course.
Okay, Brittany, let's go ahead and desensitize her to the stirrups. Let's make sure she's real quiet with that. I try to get bucked off on the ground. Remember, the more you try to give your horse a heart attack, the quieter they'll get. The more you try to kill them with fear, the quieter they get. So Brittany's going to go out of her way to flap those stirrups, really shake them. What do you think she normally would have done when you did that?
You wouldn't even got to that point, actually, but if you did, she would rear up.
See how Brittany's
kick.
jumping up and down? She's preparing her. We're preparing her to be ridden. Excellent. Move you to forequarters there, Brittany, and we'll do it on the other side. You bring her forequarters towards me. That's it. Drive her front end away. Drive her front end away from me. Keep going. Drive it away. Right there. Drive her to a stop. Do it on that side. Little reactive there, isn't she? So Brittany's going to keep doing it. I like that. She's licking her lips. You see that? Yeah, when they're licking, there's 5 major signs of a horse relaxing. Lowering their head and neck is 1. Licking their lips is number 2, that one she just did. Cocking their hind leg is number 3. Taking a big breath, or like sighing, is number 4. And blinking their eyes is number 5. There's others, but they're the 5 major signs of horse relaxing. Good girl. Excellent job, Brittany. See, by jumping up and down and slapping the saddle, we're daring her to take off, aren't we? We're daring her to run away. The key to getting a safe, successful ride is preparation. The more times you get bucked off, the better your preparation gets, because you get smarter about it. You couldn't have paid me $1 million to get on her when you brought her here. Because you were only asking for a wreck.
Right.
See her licking her lips there again?
Yes.
I love that. Excellent, great job. Okay, mate, we've done our job. Now it's time for me to kick you guys in the butt and you guys got to do your job. Does that make sense? Because you can't blame her anymore, can you?
No, we can't.
She was just acting the way she was bred to act. Mother Nature told her to act that way. But she will not stay like this if you go back to your old habits.
Okay.
Because remember, even though she's made a lot of improvement, if you don't go home and work with her, it's going to get worse, isn't it?
Right.
Okay? She was only acting like that because she didn't know any other way to act. You guys are going to go home, follow my method, and what kind of results you're going to get?
We'll have a horse that she can ride.
And feel safe on. Remember, it was all about safety, wasn't it?
Yes, yes.
When you brought her here, how safe did you feel?
I wouldn't.
Would you feel comfortable with your daughter going in there now with her?
I would. And
yeah, because she's calm, isn't she? She's relaxed. And she'll stay like that as long as you follow my method. If you regress and go back to just ignoring her again, she'll get worse.
We need our horse.
That's exactly right. You want your safe horse, and you got one now, don't you?
Yes, we do.
Good job.
Thank you.
Righto, Brittany, we're going to unsaddle her, mate, and we're going to load her up on the trailer, and then you guys are going to go home and follow the method.
All right, thank you, Clinton.
For 128 years, ADM Alliance Nutrition has been doing what's right for the horse. It was ADM who cut back on starch and sugar, ADM who balanced vitamins and minerals, and ADM who put forage first in horse nutrition. Today, you can still trust ADM for the information and products you need. Learn more about equine nutrition and ADM's premium products at growstrong.com. That's GROstrong.com. ADM Alliance Nutrition, doing what's right for the horse.
Hey mate, if you're looking for a fun and inspiring way to challenge your horsemanship, then join me for a 3-day horsemanship clinic so I can help you become a better horseman. At each clinic, I'll work with only 20 participants, teaching them the fundamentals, groundwork, and riding exercises. My clinicians will join me to ensure everybody makes progress and receives one-on-one help. Spectators are welcome to watch all 3 days of the clinic. We'll also have our retail store set up with all of my products and kits. So mate, if you want to learn the method from me personally, sign up to participate or get your spectator tickets now, and I'll see you on the road, mate.
Okay, Hope. Get your horse from Brittany, mate. Here's your brand new horse.
There you go.
What do you think about that?
Hey, Zoe.
That's not the same horse we dropped off.
Zoe was such a relaxed horse. Today, and petting her, and we all three walked up to her at one time and hands all over her, and she just stood there, not one hoof moved.
4 days ago, would you feel comfortable us handing her back off to Hope?
3 days ago, I wouldn't have let you touch her, Hope.
Very good.
Hope, you ready to take Zoe home and make her your horse?
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing her back home with all our other horses.
Rub on her neck, rub on her withers.
Because she's probably going to stand up between them all. You know, my pony will just be a stick, and she'll be like like one of those rollers that bend.
Completely different, isn't she?
Yes.
She's calm, she's relaxed. Look at that, brand new horse. And you guys are gonna go home and keep her like that.
We didn't know about horses, and somebody was helping us who loved thoroughbreds. And had I done a little more research, I would probably reconsider my first choice for my girls, but now that's why this was so awesome to see today.
Righto, Alan, let's load her up, mate.
Like Clinton's saying today, they're all good horses, they just need to be taught how to be.
There we go.
And then she walked right into that trailer, and if you would have seen her when we loaded her to come down here, it was not pretty, so she did great. Hope you're ready to take Zoe home and teach her to be your horse.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing her back home.
Righto, guys, one more thing before you head out. This is gonna be the success right here in a box. This is the fundamentals kit. This is everything that Brittany's been working with your horse on. If you don't continue on with my method, it's not gonna work, is it? She's made tremendous progress. She really wants to be a good horse, but you've got to go on with it.
She's got a rough foundation that Brittany gave her, and if we could take that DVD #1 and just work it through, I think we'll have that respect.
It's not hard to do. 20, 30 minutes a day, that's all you need to do for the next couple of weeks, and she'll be a brand new horse. So everything you need to know is in here. There's DVDs, the arena mates, the philosophy book. Everything you need to know is in this. All you have to do is be willing to put in the effort.
This is actually the perfect time to have this done because they're out of school, and so we have that consistent days that, you know, she can be worked 1 or 2 times a day. One of our daughters wants to train horses one day, so what better opportunity she has than to learn this kind of method that we saw for ourselves that's so effective.
Here you go, Hope. There you go, mate. Listen, it was a privilege getting to know all of yous. We wish you all the best of success. Travel safely, and make sure if you get a chance, come back to the Downunder Horsemanship Ranch here in Stephenville, Texas, and come to one of our clinics, because we would love to have you and the horse back here, Hope, so we can get you to the next level.
Right.
Travel safely, guys.
Thank you.
Good job.
Zoe had a foal and she turned 2 March 1st of this year. And this is stuff that we can start with her now so that someday we're not training her out of a problem. To learn the right way, we can develop that right now, and because that's a horse that the girls are going to develop into.
Well, Brittany, good job, mate. That's another example of when we follow the fundamentals and we follow the method, people's problems just disappeared, didn't they?
Yep.
That mare really didn't have a pulling back problem, did she?
No, not
She
at
didn't
all.
have a bucking problem. She had fear, but it wasn't about the saddle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By doing the groundwork the way you did and combining that with the desensitizing, we got a safe, calm, respectful, and you really did a good job. Great job, mate. Proud of you. Well, listen, mate, remember, yet again, I've said it again and again, whatever problem you have is a symptom of a cause. Follow my method, gain your horse's respect, get them to use the thinking side of their brain, and whatever problems you have will disappear. See you next week, mate.